Well, hello. Welcome to your feedback session for the homework number 5 on biology. Same rule as always. Please get your green pen. Please write down the correct answer to the question you got wrong. Please give yourself marks for the question you got right. And please make sure you bring your homework back in class on the day it's due, instead to get yourself a house point. Let's start. Less than 15 minutes at attack. In sexual reproduction, an egg fuses with a sperm. Fact. Draw a ring around the correct answer to complete the sentence. An egg and a sperm fuse together in the process of fertilization. You need to know this word? Okay, fertilization, the DNA or the chromosomes from the sperm cell get into the nucleus of the egg cell, and we now have a fertilized cell which is going to grow into an organism. Egg cells and sperm cells each contain the structures given in the box. List this structure in size order, starting with the smallest. So just to help you, I've done this diagram here. If you have a cell, inside of the cell we have the nucleus. If you zoom inside the nucleus, you will see a lot of chromosomes floating around. And if you zoom on these chromosomes, you will find it's separated into different sections, each called a gene. Okay, so you have thousands of genes on each chromosome. And each chromosome is just a very, very, very long molecule of DNA. Okay, but all the different sections are called a gene. So the smallest is a gene, many genes together from a chromosome, and all the chromosomes are going to be found in the nucleus. That's going to be found in the cell, controlling what the cell does. The egg and the sperm contain genetic material or DNA. Draw a ring around the correct answer to complete the sentence. I'm pretty sure I answered the question already. The genetic material is made of DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. If you just remember 3 letters, you're fine. Variation in individual organisms can be caused by genes, the environment, or a combination of both genes and the environment. What is the cause of each variation in the table below? So brown eyes, the eye color is caused by genes only. Okay, you inherit it from your parents, so that's gene only. The light brown skin color is both genes and the environment. You have a natural skin color that is genetic, that you inherit from your parents, but it's also depending on the environment. You're going to get darker if you live in a very sunny place. You may be a bit paler if you live in a very darker place or not as bright. Short hair is caused by the environment. It's a decision that you're making to cut your hair short or to leave it long. Sorry. So these are the answers you had to give to get 3 marks. Next, question 3. We have a fish. Again, characteristics on an animal can be result of genetic causes only or environmental causes only, or both genetic and environmental causes. Give one characteristic shown in figure 1 for each different cause. So only genetic could be the eye color of the fish, the number of fins, the pattern of the scales. All that is entirely genetic, is inherited from the parents. Only environmental causes. So that would be a scar. Okay, the scar is caused by the way the fish is living its life. So the scar is environmental. And both genetic and environmental causes would be the length of the fish. Okay, if he has a really good diet, he's probably going to grow up or get bigger. If he doesn't have a right diet, he may not be able to grow as much. So the length is caused by both genetics and environmental causes. Next, these young rabbits look like their parents. This is because information about characteristics such as fur color is passed from parents to their young. Information is passed from parents to their young in sex cells. Okay, they are so-called gametes, and we have in animals sperm cell and egg cells. Okay, you have different type of gametes in plants, but they work the same way. We have male gametes and female gametes, and they need to fuse to make during fertilization to make a new offspring or young. Each characteristic, such as fur color, is controlled by gene or genes, and the structures which carry information for a large number of characteristics are called chromosomes. Okay, so multiple genes together are going to form a chromosome, which is a very long chain of DNA. The part of the cell which contains these structures is called the nucleus. You need to remember these keywords. You need to know exactly what they correspond to. Next, if you zoom in, this is a nice diagram of the one I tried to do earlier on. So on the left, completely on the left here, we have a cell, and in the middle of the cell, we have the nucleus. Okay, the nucleus controls what the cell does, contain the genetic material, the DNA and the chromosomes. If you zoom into this nucleus, you will find this little structure here called chromosomes. Okay, you have in a human being, you have 23 pairs of chromosomes. You're going to have different number of chromosomes or different number of pairs of chromosome in different living organisms. Okay, but every living organism is going to have this DNA, and if they're not bacteria, so multicellular organism like plants and animals are going to have pairs of chromosomes. And if you zoom into the chromosome, you'll have a different section, including section C here, which is one gene, which is coding for the synthesis of one protein only. Okay, so one gene is going to code for one protein. Sometime one protein is going to code for one characteristic. Sometimes many genes are going to work together to give a characteristic. Factors that may affect characteristics include genes and environment. We've done that before. So, blue eyes are affected by genes only. You inherit your eye color from your parents. Your height is both genes and the environment. Okay, some people tend to be taller, but depending on their upbringing and their diet, they're going to grow more or less. The scar on the arm is affected by the environment only. Yeah, so these were the correct answer to get 3 marks. Next, what type of variable is eye color? Eye color is genetic variable. It's inherited or categoric for, sorry, it is genetic, but it's categoric because it works with a word. Continuous, remember, is a variable that can take any value within a range. It's usually numbers, can take any numbers. And a control variable is thus a variable that needs to be kept the same to make it a fair test. If we look at the data, how many people in the class had blue eyes? So if you look at the bar here for blue, it is between 10 and 12. It is 11. Okay, be careful, you can't have half a person. How many people were in a student class? So if we look, we have 11 with blue eyes, 6 people have green eyes, and 8 people have brown eyes. So to calculate the total number of people, you do 11 plus 6 plus 8, and that is, I think, 25. If one conclusion can be made from the data in the figure above, so we can see that a blue is the most common eye color, green is the least common eye color in that class. Be very careful if you wrote a majority of people have blue eyes. It is not true. Okay, you have more people than the rest having blue eyes, but it's less than half of the people, so it's not a majority. A majority would be more than 50%. So that would mean 13 or more people, which is not the case here. So blue is the most common eye color, green is the least common eye color. Question 7, we have 2 more questions to go through. Let's go. Diagram shows how a Labrador can be crossed with a poodle to produce a Labradoodle puppy. The Labradoodle puppy has some characteristics of each of its parents, but it is not identical to either. Give one characteristic of the Labradoodle puppy which is similar to the Labradoodle father, but not the poodle mother. So we can see that the shape of... what am I looking at? So for the father, we have the similar shape of the face, same fur color, same shape of nose, face, head. And one characteristic, the Labradoodle puppy is similar with the poodle mother, but not the Labrador father, would be the furry curly fur, or the furry legs, or the shape of the tail, or the shape of the legs, or the shape of the ears. So you chose one of those to get the full mark. And for the last question, these are all dogs. Fact, they're in the same species. What is meant by species? Remember, species is a group of organisms with similar characteristics that can breed to produce fertile offspring. So similar characteristics, very important, and also they can breed to produce fertile offspring. This is the main definition. Remember, tiger and lion could potentially have an offspring, but the offspring would be non-fertile. Okay. Same with the horse and the donkey. So they don't belong to the same species, even though they can have an offspring. This offspring cannot have babies. And finally, explain why puppies have some of the characteristics of both parents, um, because they inherit genes or DNA from both their parents. Therefore, they're going to have a mixture of their characteristic. All right, before we go, can you write down, as a proof that you've watched this video, can you write down, I don't know, your favorite book right now? Okay, so on your homework, write down the name of your favorite book at the minute to prove you've watched this video. Okay, this is it for me. Make sure you bring your homework back in class. Make sure you stay amazing, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye bye.